Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Mr. Slave here. Hope you're all doing well. I'm on my way to go slave so I can make my money, my bartering chips, so I can survive. Today would be my Wednesday. Let's see. No, actually it's my Thursday, so we're chugging right along here through the week. Got a nice gloomy morning here. I don't want to jinx us, but it's been a real mild July as far as heat goes. Normally it's blazing by now, but we're getting off the hook a little here. Either that or it's the calm before the storm, man. It might just heat up like ridiculous. It's gonna be one or the other, I'm pretty sure, but I'm hoping that it stays cool because I don't do like really hot heat very well. Like, this is cool with me. The only bummer is you don't get like vitamin D like you do when the sun's out, so you know, but I'll take this for working weather, that's for sure, and comfort weather. But I'm feeling really good. You know, since I've quit drinking and doing drugs, 90% of my issues have cleared up. I'm not having skin issues like I used to. I'm not getting sick with the cold or flu like I used to. I'm not having issues like I used to. So, you know, it's like, it's obviously I would say all my problems that I was having health-wise were caused from drugs and alcohol. Look at this guy. Look at this shit right there in the freaking driveway, changing the tire. So anyways, in the freaking intersection there. Anyways, all my problems were caused by drugs and alcohol, a combination. Alcohol was just as big of a culprit as boost as far as messing up my health. So, you know, even if I wanted to continue to drink and do drugs, my body was gonna say no anyways. So I pretty much didn't have a choice but to do what I did, quit doing drugs and alcohol, because I literally was I was falling apart, starting with my my skin and my, you know, lungs and heart and stuff. Just my insides and out were not doing well. All right, this light is ridiculous. So I'm glad I did what I did. You know, I know I bring it up a lot, but to me, my sobriety is still a my number one priority is staying clean and keeping my health up, staying healthy and feeling good and trying to look better. I think I look better now than I did when I quit drinking. Okay, I'm pretty sure I do. People have been noticing lately that I've been losing weight, which I have been, very slowly. It's a very slow process. I think a lot of the water weight is definitely gone. When I first stopped drinking, I dropped like 10 pounds like that, but I think a lot of that was just water weight. Now I'm like, lately I've been actually losing like fat, and that's from working out and stuff, you know, and maintaining a good diet, healthy diet. So, you know, at my age, I would say I probably waited a little too long to do what I'm doing. I should have probably stopped doing all that a long time ago, like probably when I got into my 40s, but you know, can't go back in time. Gotta accept what I did and move on. And that's what I'm doing. I'm accepting what I did in the past as life experience, and I'm just moving on because I saw the light. I felt the light on that stuff on what I was doing to myself. And you just come. Most people that abuse drugs and alcohol will eventually come to that fork in the road where they really don't. It's either do or die. Okay, you'll have a choice. Okay, when your body and your health starts failing and other things starts failing, like your money, jobs, friends, family, they all start to fail along with your health, physical and mental health, you'll eventually come to that fork in the road and you'll have to make a choice, because it's either do or die. And some people, they just don't learn the lesson. They just never figure it out eventually, and it catches up. It catches up, man. And a lot of those people that didn't figure it out and make the right choice, it catches up, and then they regret it. They regret it. And it's probably the worst regret you'll ever have in your life, is to make the wrong choice when it comes to your health, physical and mental and everything else, to choose that path. I could have easily just kept doing what I was doing, and I probably would survive still, but I just would not be in good shape. Okay, I would be in really bad shape by now. I was already in bad shape, but that was 15 months ago. I mean, I really would probably have some pretty bad problems going right now if I kept doing what I was doing, especially my skin, always breaking out and having these bad skin problems and mental breakdowns. If you go back in my videos, you'll see how mentally unstable and emotional I was all the time. I mean, it was every other video I was breaking down and crying, because I knew I was not doing the right thing. And I knew that I made a lot of mistakes and made bad choices for a long time, and I knew that I had to make a choice, and that's why I was so emotional a lot of time, and I was always having anxiety attacks, like really bad ones, where I literally in the middle of the night, early morning, would have to get up, go drive to the parking lot of emergency room and sit there in my truck, and sometimes it was so bad I had to go just get up and sit in the waiting room and have them watch me there while I was having like a massive anxiety attack, And the skin problems I was having, I couldn't function. It was on my feet, my hands, my torso, my legs. I was having a lot of bad problems. And then, you just are mentally addicted to these things. Like alcohol is an addiction, man. There's no doubt about it. And also, I noticed my bank account has been doing a lot better since I stopped doing drugs and alcohol. And I sat down just the other day, and I just crunched a few numbers and figured out how much money I was spending on just alcohol in 1 month. I was spending over $500 a month on just alcohol. When I was doing drugs and alcohol, I was spending about $800 a month between drugs and alcohol, over $800 a month. So, and then I was falling apart on top of that. So it's like I had no choice. I had a choice, but I really didn't have no choice. But unless you're completely insane and you don't learn from your mistakes, then I learned from my mistakes. I knew I had a choice to make, and I made the choice. And right now I felt like I totally made the right choice. I know I did. And had I not made the right choice, then I would really be regretting it right now. I probably wouldn't have my job. I would probably be in the process of losing my place or having to sell it. And I don't know where I would be right now. But I don't think I'd be as good of shape if I would have continued what I was doing, making those wrong choices, there's no doubt in my mind I wouldn't be in this good a shape right now. You know, my bank account's doing a lot better. My health is doing a lot better in my physical and mental health. I mean, I wish my bank account was doing even more better, but it's definitely doing a lot better than it was when I was, you know, in the throes of my addictions. So, you know, reflecting on it, and it's only been just, you know, a year and 3 months since I got dry. Yeah, it's a nice bike. And I've seen quite a big improvement in my life. And you know, I still have my issues. I still get into my funks. I still have issues, you know, as far as like social life and money. You know, I still don't have the money to do everything I want, but I'm doing better than I was. You know, I'm not blowing all my money. Man, them new Harleys are sick. They're really nice bikes. Freaking fast too. Look at that thing. Damn. Milwaukee A. So anyways, yeah. Been doing a lot of reflecting lately. And I'm happy I'm doing what I'm doing, especially on days like today when I feel really good, man. I'm having no problems waking up. I'm no hangovers. No, I'm not having any, knock on wood, but I'm not having any issues right now. No health issues. I feel super healthy. I feel good emotionally, mentally. Although that's something I'm still kind of working on. And I think a lot of the problems I'm still having, like emotionally and mentally, and a little bit physically, are still the remnants of what I did over the, you know, decades of drinking and drugging. You know, I'm still losing the weight that I gained, and I'm still working through my mental, emotional stuff and, you know, life stuff where I messed up. I'm still paying the price for a lot of that, but at least I'm on the right track. You know, I made the right choice. So I was doing a lot of reflecting lately and just, you know, weighing the benefits that I've seen from quitting, and weighing the things that I still am having issues with, and the pros definitely outweigh the cons. You know, like I said in a bunch of my other videos, I'm still struggling to have fun when I go out. It's harder to have fun because I don't have the elixir, the drugs, the alcohol and drugs to do it for me, you know. So I'm still having to learn and teach myself how to really have a good time without having to do drugs or alcohol. When I go out or just lounging around at home, you know, I'm still struggling with that per se. Still, that's a struggle, but you can't expect, you know, everything to just be like a light switch where everything's just amazing just because you stop doing drugs and alcohol. It's not true. It's something you got to work on. You have to teach yourself and train yourself and condition yourself, like I'm doing, you know. So that's kind of like what I've been stirring around with lately. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm glad that I did what I did. And I'm just going to keep continuing to do what I've been doing because it's definitely worth it. I don't like to be preachy kind. I'm just putting it out there for anybody that wants to watch this and understand it, and for myself to document my journey and my my growth as a human being, and you know, just to vlog my progress. You know, that's what a lot of these are for anyways, just for me to vlog my progress and to document how I'm feeling in the process, you know, and that's why I do a lot of these. So I'm almost to work now. I was going to go into some political stuff, but I don't have time now because I'm almost to work. But everything's going pretty good. I'm trying to keep my train of thought more positive instead of negative like it gets sometimes. I get pessimistic at times, and I realize that. I recognize it, and I'm working on it. And a lot of that pessimistic stuff is still part of how I was, and still part kind of am. And as long as I recognize some of these issues, you know, mental, emotional, I can work on them and try to improve on those. And that's part of my getting sober, is fixing some of that stuff too. Naming. So I'm to work. I'm gonna do my thing, do my slave action. And I do appreciate y'all stopping by and giving me the time. You could be anywhere else, watching whatever else on the planet, but you chose to watch my video, and I do appreciate that. And I hope y'all have a fantastic Monday, and we'll catch y'all later. All right, see ya.